A time series graph uses quantitative data that has been collected at different points of time. Time is plotted along the x-axis and the collected data is plotted along the y-axis. So, to know more about what I'm talking about right now, let's go ahead and start with some examples about time series graphs. We will notice how the collected data goes along with time and fluctuates accordingly. The table below shows the total rainfall in Georgie's garden each season for 3 years. You can see that the table has a row for seasons, which represents time, and the collected data on the bottom row, which is rainfall in millimeters. Part A says, draw a line graph to display this data. So, we're going to draw a time series graph about the amount of rainfall in Georgie's garden each season for 3 years. On the x-axis, of course, is going to be the time. So, spring, summer, autumn, and winter for the first year, and we're going to have the same exact thing for the second and third year. And on the y-axis is where we're going to have the amount of rainfall in millimeters. The scale is going to go from 200 to 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, and 500. So now that we have labeled these scales, let's go ahead and start. For the first spring season, the amount of rainfall was 225 millimeters, so we plot the first point. Moving on to the second one, summer season for year 1, we had 200 millimeters. For autumn season, year 1, we had 275 millimeters, so that would be right between 250 and 300. For winter season of year 1, we had 375 millimeters, which is right in the middle between 350 and 400. Now that we have plotted the points for the first year, let's go ahead and do the same exact thing for year 2 and year 3. Spring season, year 2, we had 250. Summer season, year 2, we had 225, which is right there between 200 and 250. Summer season is what we have plotted right now. Moving on to autumn season, year 2, 300 millimeters. Winter season of year 2, 425 millimeters, which is up there between 400 and 450. Now moving on to the final year, spring summer had 300 milliliters of rainfall. So we're going to plot the point right here on the graph, and summer season had 250. Let's also plot its point. Autumn season for the final year, 325, which is right between 300 and 350. And for the final season, we had winter, which had 475 millimeters of rainfall. Now that we have plotted all of the points of the collected data, let's go ahead and connect these points in order to see the line graph that displays the total rainfall in Georgie's garden each season for years. Connecting these points, you can see how the line graph fluctuates with the seasons, and this is what a time series graph looks like.